Warning, this video contains opinions throughout. If you don't like what you hear, you've only got yourself to blame for watching. Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and it's the 4th day of VEDA, it's the 4th of April, and it's a Monday. Is it a Monday? Yes, it's a Monday. And that means that it's time for my favourite VEDA format, and this year the one that people have been asking for the most out of everything that I do, it's my Eurovision Top 43. And in order to make it fit with my plans for this month, I'm going to divide it into 4 episodes, if you will. So this week I'll talk about my songs in positions 43 up to 33, so 11 songs, and then next week 32 up to 22, and then 21 up to 11, and then in the 4th week I'll do my top 10. But that's ages away. We'll begin with my bottom 11. But I will begin by saying, first of all, I don't care what anyone else has to say. This year is a very strong year. All of the songs are good. There are no songs that I outright hate. This is just a list of all the songs in order of preference, but I like all of them. There isn't a song that I will objectively say, no, I don't like this one, because I like them all. It's just a matter of most favourite down to least favourite, or actually least favourite up to most favourite, which is the order I'll be addressing them in. And if you disagree with me, that's fine, because if everyone had the same opinion, then it wouldn't be the Eurovision Song Contest, would it? So, if you don't agree, that's fine, but be nice about it, please. We don't need anyone getting all angry in the comments, because I know what the Eurovision fandom is like, seriously. So let's get started. In 43rd place, in my personal rankings, is FYI Macedonia, Calliope, Donna. I appreciate this as an absolutely beautiful song, and musically, the music critic in me absolutely loves it because it's so well written, it's beautifully composed, it's beautifully performed. It just doesn't do anything to entertain me personally. And I think a part of it may be the, not disappointment factor, but the fact that I was expecting something more like Sorno e Bello, as were a lot of people, I think. And this is very much not Sorno e Bello. But, I mean, that's fine, because it is still very Calliope, and I respect her for that. It's just not my personal sort of thing, but I can see it for its qualities. It's just, compared to the other songs, it doesn't engage me quite as much. But, as I said, that's fine. It's still a good song. In 42nd place, Montenegro, Highway, The Real Thing. I'm not really sure what I can say about this one, really. I mean, I have to give them credit for being so original and true to form, and just generally being themselves and not compromising on any of that, and not getting Jason to write part of their song for them. But, again, the song doesn't really do much for me. I respect their style, and I do think they've got a rather creative song on their hands. And the only thing that puts this above Macedonia is the fact that it engages me a little bit more, but still not very much. Overall, I find this to be a rather forgettable song, and again, I can see its qualities. It just doesn't really stand out to me personally. In 41st place, I'm not going to win any fans by saying this, but Italy, Francesca Michelin, No Degree of Separation. I don't get the hype with this one. I won't say that it's boring, but I will say that it bores me. Once again, as with Calliope and Donna, I can see the qualities of this song. There is legitimate merit to it. It's well written, it's well performed, it's generally beautiful, it has a nice message and all that. It just doesn't do anything for me personally, and since this list is my personal opinion, I think I have the right to say that. So, Italy, both Italy as a country and Francesca Michelin as an artist, I think both are capable of better. I keep bringing back the example of L'amore esiste, which is an absolutely beautiful song. And again, it might just be the fact that I was expecting something more like that from Italy, since they're sending Francesca Michelin. But, I don't know. The other thing that bothers me about this song is the fact that some of its fans will not hear a word said against it. Like, okay, you like it, that's fine, but let other people have their opinions. I'm not stupid for not liking it, just because I don't agree with your opinion. It just doesn't work for me personally. Please try to understand that. And that goes for all of the songs this year, but certainly Italy and a couple of others have some really vicious fans who won't hear a word said against the song, even if it's constructive criticism. But yeah, for me, Italy, sorry, it isn't my sort of thing. In 40th place, the host nation, Sweden, with the artist Franz, because it's going to get really confusing because we've got Franz and we've got France, Which one am I talking about? I'm talking about Sweden, Franz, If I Were Sorry. Again, I don't get it. The jury's absolutely fawned over this one in Melodifestivalen, and I don't see why. They described it as catchy and innovative. It's none of those things. The staging was boring and forgettable. The lyrics, okay, I will concede. It tells a really cute story. Perhaps part of me is just sort of bitter that, how dare you be younger than me and have fallen in and out of love, but sincerely, I just don't. The song bores me. It bores a lot of people, but it bores me, and I'm not going to give it a free pass just because it's Sweden. I'm just not sold on this one, basically. In 39th place, Poland, Michał Szpak, Color of Your Life, except it's misspelled as color because American spelling. I've been told on many occasions that I look a bit like Michał Szpak because I've got the face and the hair, but originally this was going to be my last place. But, I don't know, it's grown on me a little bit, and this isn't residual salt because Margaret didn't win the national final. This is just, it's a pretty ballad, but again, it's just not for me. That's kind of the running theme with my bottom 11. It's good, but it's not for me. That's kind of my line of thought here, because, as I said, again, as with all the songs on this list, there is legitimate merit in there. Just, I wouldn't choose to listen to it personally, but still, I appreciate what he's going for, and from what I've heard, Michał is a really good ambassador for Poland because he really loves the contest, he's really proud to be representing his country, and apparently Margaret wasn't quite so engaged. So in that regard, he's certainly a better ambassador, but his song doesn't grab me anywhere near as much. In 38th place, the song that the fandom this year loves to hate, Alexander Ivan Ivanov and Help You Fly for Belarus. I like it. I do like it. Well, I like all the songs on this list, as I've said. It's just not very high up because it's not anywhere near as grabbing or engageful as the ones higher up the list, but it's not that bad. I've heard a load of criticisms against the song, and the only one that I think that actually stands up is he struggles to perform live, because yes, he is lacking somewhat in the charisma department, and his live vocals do need some work. I'd imagine he's definitely working on that between now and Stockholm, but yeah, because Stockholm's a place in time. The point is, I don't think the song's that bad. It's just not as good as the rest on this list. Which I suppose is kind of a kick in the teeth, considering my 37th place is San Marino, Serhat, and I Didn't Know, the disco remix. Well, the original version of this song was the absolute bottom of my list. The original version, no. I could barely even apologize for that song, because the original version of this, yes, it was a crooner ballad, and as crooner ballads go, it was done adequately, but the age of the crooner is very, very long gone, and it just would not fit in with Eurovision. And so they've tarted it up into a disco remix, and I hate myself for liking it as much as I do, because the disco remix, it's really catchy, but I only like it for the beat and the backing singers, because in that regard, it's catchy as fuck. But I recognize this is a very, very weak offering from San Marino. And I'm probably being far too generous with them, but I just like the catchiness of the backing vocalists, and it's gonna flop in Stockholm, and I know it, but I mean, I like it a bit, and there is a legitimate song in there, but it's just very, 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 very behind the times, and I'm not gonna deny that. Sorry, San Marino, I'm not gonna fight your corner this year. In 36th place, the Netherlands, Douwe Bob and Slow Down. This is another one of those countries where the fans won't hear a word said against the song, even if it's something like, I like it, but. In this case, yeah, the song's alright. For what it's going for, it's very well written, and yeah, I concede it's a good song. I can see why loads of people like that. For me personally, yeah, it's good. It's just, again, not my sort of thing. If I was ranking these songs on technical level, like, if I was ranking them according to how technically good they are, this would be a lot higher. But since this is just my personal opinion, I appreciate it, but it's not the sort of thing that I'm into. So, it's good, but it's not my sort of thing. And note, that's not me saying that I don't like it, because it has legitimate quality, but just be civil. It's just not my sort of thing. In 35th place, kind of carrying on that theme, Norway, Agneta, Icebreaker. I would like this song so much more if they just put a bit of effort into the transition between the verses and the choruses. See, this is Norway this year is what Latvia was last year to me, in that the song, I would like it so much more if they just fixed one little thing, and this one little thing is something that just ruins the immersion for me. It might not do it for you, it's just, for me personally, just the fact that the refrain and the verses are on two different tempos, two different songs entirely, it feels like, and the fact that they just slam them together rather than having a smooth transition from one to the other, that just breaks the immersion for me. It just throws me out of the world of the song, in the same way that Latvia last year, Love Injected Aminata, the beat breakdown in that song just ruined the immersion for me. Like, I was absorbed in the world of the song, but then you get to that part, or in the case of Norway this year, the bit between the verses and the chorus, and it's just so very jarring and sudden, it just shoves me out of the song. And so my experience of it is kind of tarnished somewhat. Plus, for me, personally, the song does sound kind of almost a bit too much like the verses of Euphoria and the chorus of Chandelier, and so it doesn't have as much of a personal identity, but I will say this much. I have seen Agneta's really sassy comments, like, in response to her haters, and I'm not being a hater, it's just, these are my personal opinions, as opposed to, I'm not preaching hate against this song, but I have seen her reactions to people who do preach hate against this song, and she is hilarious. She's brilliant. As a person, I love her. I just don't much care for her song. In 34th place, Laura Tesoro, What's the Pressure for Belgium. It's fun, and it's got, well, judging by the music video, it's got rather impressive choreography. But again, it's of a genre that doesn't do all that much for me. I'm not a big fan of this neo-disco sound. And I say neo-disco because it's a genre that didn't exist this time last year, where it's upbeat pop, but brassy with a disco-ish sound, but without being cheesy disco. Again, it's a genre that just doesn't really do anything for me personally, which is okay because that's how opinions work. Again, I can appreciate the value of the song, and she's so full of energy, and she believes in what she's singing so much, and I respect that hardcore. It's just not my sort of thing. Plus, I mean, Rhythm Inside is such a tough act to follow, so I suppose we couldn't have expected any earth-shattering miracles from Belgium this year, but I mean, it's not as bad as it could have been, I suppose, and as long as she brings that kind of energy to the stage in Stockholm, then I think she'll get the placing she deserves, but I'm just not too crazy about the song myself. Similarly, 33rd place, Finland, Sandhya, Sing It Away. Kind of exactly the same as Belgium as far as my opinions go. It's of a genre that I don't much care for, plus the verses of the song sound like they're from a different genre, but they fit. Like, you could have a completely different chorus with a completely different direction to it, and it would sound like it fits just as well. But overall, I'm just not a fan of the sound. Like, it is fun, and she's a very nice person, and I expect it to have really, like, judging by her performance in Uden Musik in Kilpailu, I expect her to have rather impressive staging in Stockholm, but much as is the case with Belgium, I just don't really get this genre of music. It's happy, it's fun, but it just doesn't grab me in the same way that songs higher up this list do. So, that's my bottom 11. So just to recap, that's FYR Macedonia, Montenegro, Italy, Sweden, Poland, Belarus, San Marino, the Netherlands, Norway, Belgium, and Finland. And as I said, if you disagree with me, that's completely fine. Just don't get angry about it, because that makes you look immature as f***. So, I will say I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and I will see you in whichever of my videos you happen to choose to watch next. And if this is the first video you've seen by me, then chances are you're probably going to want to see the next part of this countdown, which is going to be this time next week. So, well, see you then for that.